So what we're doing is we just have some off-the-shelf protein mix because I couldn't find my brewer's yeast or my soy flour this year because of logistical problems. So we got off-the-shelf protein. We're mixing in sucrose. I like to mix in corn syrup, but I couldn't find corn syrup this year because nobody seems to be using it anymore. So mixing in sucrose. We're mixing in some flaxseed oil, some coconut oil, and a magic ingredient, BIO-ACTIVATOR. This is the stuff that crazy New Brunswick beekeeper and I have been conspiring on over the last, how many years has it been? Like 5 years? So he's put this together now into our product. And all I have to do is dump it in. Well, actually, I don't use this because we've been kind of collaborating on it. He allows me the recipe so I can brown bag it. This time of year, the crops are maturing, the hay's all being cut, the ditches all been sprayed. There's just the edges that I'm pulling this pollen from, and there just is not enough, I believe, to be able to fully, properly develop out a winter nest. So that's why I'm providing all this supplement, just to fortify that diet, give them what they need, and go into winter strong and healthy. Exactly 2 weeks ago, we started first pull. Started in this yard. So we had flipped these boxes out. I had 2 weeks to fill these up again. I'm out just wanting to test the honey to make sure that we're ready. It's going to be ready. I mean, it's been hot and dry, so I bet you this honey's dry. The honey looks ready. That's cappings right to the top. Beautiful. So all the way down here, I didn't see any flowers. Drove 10 miles, just a few flowers in the ditches on the way down. I've been here for about 3 minutes, and they've already found 2 empty boxes here. So we are in robbing season. There's a lot of bees in these colonies. And my question is, am I going to turn them over? I'm not going to knock them right down to 1, being the single, I mean. The question is, do I give them 1 back or 2 back? Beautiful frame of honey. Look at that. Heavy, right to the top. That is not canola honey. That looks like sunflower honey. That's reading 20 and a half. Let's go down a little further. Certainly it's heavy. Gobs of bees. $20 and a half. Damn. That's too wet. That is too wet. Can't pull honey on 20 and a half. We are still finding swarms in the trees. Not as many as earlier, but just the occasional. So I don't want to confine them too much and then have them swarm on me. With the honey flow ending like this, it's going to provide that shortage of nutrition. So I imagine these bees are going to flip immediately into fall preparation, because we're getting late enough in the summer with the lack of nectar coming in. That queen's going to be slowing down. So that swarming urge surely should leave them. But one of those factors is crowding them, and if I could at all prevent any of this late season swarming, I will. Most seasons it's like common sense, where middle of August to the end of August, we've already experienced like 2 weeks of dearth. These hives get grumpy, they get very hoardy, and they make a flip just like that. All the rules are off this year though, I just don't know what to expect. So what I'm going to do is find a big colony here. This one here. I'm going to lift this one up, and I'm going to put 2 boxes underneath. I want to see how they react. I also want to see how much flow is coming in these colonies yet. Probably none, but if there's drags, and if they're not fully utilizing both the boxes I give back to them, we're just going to cut them down to 1 honey box and just maintain them until into September in that. If there's no flow, we'll just drop the axe and start feeding. If there is flow, we'll just ride it until it ends. But it's not looking like there's much out there anymore. do a test in this yard. That looks ready to me. This is canola honey. Yeah, last yard must be touching either an alfalfa or a sunflower field. Look like sunflower honey. Yeah, that's 17.6. So it looks like it's a go. So I caught up with my work today and I decided maybe to come back to the yard. I set that escape in to figure out what's going on. And what I determined was they're using one box. They don't need two. Well, they definitely need another box because there's a trickle of nectar still coming in. So I have to make sure that I leave a little bit of headspace. But at the same time, I'm looking and they are robbing. So I don't consider enough nectar coming in right now to warrant further pulling of honey. I've dropped the axe. We are preparing for winter now. So that's it for honey pull on the second round. So we're coming through, we're lifting up the honey boxes, we're dropping in one empty for space for the bees, and now we're proceeding to set up this winter nest. And by doing that, we are dropping protein patties. So I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, Mike, I'll get you to hang on to this camera for me. It's videoing there. So we're lifting up the 3 honey boxes. And I want to make sure that it's a viable colony before I spend any money on it. So I just quickly go down, take a peek. If I see brood, then it's automatic. But if I don't see brood, like this one, I just go down, take a peek to see what's going on. And this one was going through a queen replacement. So I can see a bunch of supersedure cells here. Torn down, so they're in the middle of a queen replacement. I'm not going to spend money on this, but I'm going to leave them alone. And we'll check back in September. Egg on top. This one's got for me. So I'm not seeing brood again. Checking down, not seeing a brood nest. Some backfilling, so I wonder if this one has actually died on me. Queen issues or something. 2 in a row. Tag on top. And that escape. So we're going to pull honey and we're going to check back in September to see if these queen replacements are successful. Okay, I'm looking down and I'm seeing brood from the top of the frames here, all the way across from here to here. So that's giving me a clue that this colony's probably okay. And they automatically get fed 2 patties, 2 pounds of protein. So this colony is out of production now. And because it's out of production, it provides us the ability to start feeding supplements again. We're putting this box back on just to give the bees space to congregate. And if we need to, well, a number of things. If there's a mild flow still going on, they'll have a place to store the nectar so they can further develop out the brood nest in the bottom. Or if they go into starvation, we can drop some feed into this box to allow them to further develop out their winter nest. And this prevents us from running into the likelihood of them backfilling and plugging themselves out. Next week, we're going to go through and we're going to strip them. We're not going to add this box on top. Some honey in there. What's going on? I'm looking at broods here to there. So that's good. We'll open up one more colony, then I'll let you get back to work. Check out the situation. I'm seeing brood from here right till there. Two pounds of patty. One box, whoops, what am I doing? Excluder. One box for space. Escape. And honey boxes on top. So this completely removes the honey boxes from the hive. It allows us to proceed with supplemental feeding. One more. Looking through, seeing brood from here to here again. Get yourself £2 patty, excluder. So that is a start on second pull. Feels like there's honey in these boxes. She's a hot one today. Preparing for the winter nest already. Finished 120 hives now. Just finished our third yard here. Just doing the walk around. As you can see, I brought out the covers, but I've been improving my box inventory over the last few years, and I'm not having as many problems with cracks right now, so I'm avoiding those damn covers. Maybe another year, another two, I can throw those covers away. You know, with just the odd taping like this box can get called out. So over the last 3 yards, that first yard we had 8 queen problems in that yard of 40. But these last 2 yards, we count 2 problems together. So here's one of them here. We just tag the top as a flag and we'll check them. Here's a, no, that's not a crack. So that hive that I lifted up yesterday, I went down and took a look to see what was going on as the bees cleared, and there's a very light flow going on still. So that tells me that these bees, when I take this honey away from them, they're going to have some nourishment still come in. So that's very important. And I've been checking the brood nests as we're going, and they are nicely rimmed with honey. So there isn't the fear of immediate starvation right now, which is really important. We'll come back in 3 days or 4 days and strip these boxes off to harvest them, and I'll go down into this second, like the box we put back, to see if there's inflow of nectar still. If it's dry, then we have to start feeding. So this round, this week, the 500 hives that we set this week, they're all getting 1 box back, and then next week, nothing. Dropping the hammer. Can we put a tape, Mike, can we tape this here?
Yep.
There's an obvious one. That first yard that I tested at 20.5, that's the only yard that tested that high. So I kept it in rotation. The rest are testing between 17 and 18. So either we're just going to blend it in with the rest, or we'll set it in the hot room, let it sit for a week and let it dry down. But we weren't going to wait for that. It's a good thing I tested a few other yards as well, because that first one caught me off guard for some reason. But all the rest are testing dry, so we'll just deal with it. Okay, we'll head to the next yard. I think we have hit robbing season. My goodness.